Hi everyone and welcome back. Soccer is one of the most popular and most watched sports in the world. That's probably because the game is simple to understand and universal. But even with that being true, there's still some stuff that even die-hard fans and players don't know. So today we're going to be getting into 8 rules you've probably never heard of or seen. Stick around to the end to hear some potentially crazy stories about old rules as well as some potentially shocking additions to the game. With that, let's get into it. Number 1 is equipment essentials. When watching soccer, most people notice the pitch, the goals, maybe the lines on the field, but something we're not super focused on most of the time is the corner flags. But you might be surprised to know that the game won't be allowed to commence if we don't have the flags. This rule is a little bit more lax at the grassroots level, but in professional soccer, it's essential. Why might that be true? Well, there are 2 key functions of it. The first is to distinguish between a corner and goal kick, which would be one potential call, or a throw-in, which would be the other potential call. But we also need the flag because it helps to easily distinguish the ends of the pitch as it's on all 4 corners of it. Well, we've actually seen just how important it is in the 1974 FIFA World Cup final. The referee forgot corner flags and the match wouldn't start till they got them. Number 2 is no goal mayhem. This one is pretty simple. It's that you can't score a own goal from a free kick, and you can't score an own goal or a goal from a throw-in. This is outlined in Law 13 and Law 15 that I've put on the screen right now, but basically it means that if my team has a fumble wherein I make a back pass on a free kick or throw the ball towards my goal and my teammate misses it, the goal is not counted. Same thing if I have a throw-in and throw it towards my opponent's goal and it goes in, that is not counted either. Unfortunately, in the clip I'm playing right now, the keeper didn't know that, and the goal was counted, because if there's a touch from a player, like the goalkeeper had a touch here, on the ball's journey towards the goal is awarded. Number 3 is no sub for me. This rule just means that if a player refuses to be substituted, they cannot be forced and the game will continue. This has actually happened before. In the Carabao Cup final, Chelsea keeper Kepa Arrizabalaga refused to be substituted as shown on the screen right now. He later claims that it was because he was signaling to the team that he was fine to continue. But his refusal actually caused a lot of frustration from the Chelsea squad, who fined him 1 week's wages, or around £190,000 for his act. Number 4 is off before the start. I've put the details of the rule on the screen, but simply put, it's that a player can be red carded before the game has even started, and this gives referees a little bit more control over player actions both on and off the field. This has actually been put into use. In 2017, Patrice Evra, during a Europa League match, actually ended up kicking a fan because he went near the opposition box and they started hurling insults at him. After this happened, he received a red card and wasn't allowed to play the match. Number 5 is penalty misfortune. This one's a little sad because if the kicker is trying to score a penalty and they end up hitting the post, they're technically not allowed to touch the ball unless it touches another player first. Number 6 is a red ending. This rule entails that if a single team gets more than 4 red cards, the game will be abandoned and the opposing team will win. While there's no specific rule that outlines this, there is a rule that says that each team has to have a minimum of 7 players on the field. Getting more than 4 red cards would put you below that threshold, effectively ending the game. Okay, so now we're done with all of our mainstream rules. So now we're going to get into a rule that's actually been abandoned but has a pretty interesting story behind it. So, in the 2000-2001 season, player dissent was very high, and we needed rules that would help curb this. So, they created a rule that gave a 10-yard free kick advance for dissent or rule breaking of the opposing team. This seems like it would be pretty effective, and it was for the most part, until people started figuring out how to game the system. So, you know David Beckham probably. I'm going to use him for this example. He was a free kick taking king and his sweet spot was around 25 yards out or so. However, Sunderland players figured this out, and during the free kick they broke from the wall, knowing the referee would move the kick up 10 yards. This would make it harder for Beckham to score, as it would be hard to get the ball up and over the wall when you're much closer to the players. Many other teams started encountering this problem as people started to game the system, and rather than just amending the rule to give teams the options of accepting the advancement or not, they ended up just scrapping it entirely. You're probably counting with me, so you know we're on our last one, number 8. Let's talk about the potential introduction of some interesting rules. Have you ever heard about a sin bin? Well, in March 2017, IFAB, or the International Football Association Board, gave all national associations the ability to implement temporary dismissals, also known as sin bins. It's thus far mainly given for things like referee dissent and blatant disrespect to curb these kind of issues in the game. I've linked more information about the sin bin process down below, but there's potential for this to expand. It's mostly implemented on the grassroots level right now, but it's had a lot of success in its initial implementation and it's expanding its reach. We might eventually see it in professional soccer one day. Similar to this concept, there have also been hypothetical talks about a possible orange card. These talks haven't really gone anywhere, but we have a similar concept today called the blue card in American indoor soccer. I'm linking some of the offenses that lead to a blue card on the screen right now. This could potentially have value to the game because it helps create some form of middle ground. Right now, there's a lot of ambiguity that exists in the rulebook because oftentimes there's confusion about the threshold that merits a red or yellow card. While adding another card could create some confusion, there's also the potential for it to clear up some of those problems that exist right now. We went over 8 different rules, and I hope there's at least a few new things that you learned today. If so, give this video a like and consider subscribing. And if there's any cool rules I missed or that you've seen play out live in a game, comment them down below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.